Okay, hello. I'm going to be sharing with you my final copy of my Game Maker game called The Holy Grail. So, in my previous one, I've covered all my sprites and where I've gotten them from. At the moment, I've made a few more to make it a bit, most of them are my own. I've made tutorial screens, so I'll be covering, I've just wrote it down here, sorry. The obstacles that I've added, the levels that I've added, the health and score that I've added, sounds, my attacking animations, and the tutorial I've added, as well as a few extra little things that I'll probably remember along the way. So first of all, I should probably cover my new obstacles, which are the boulder and the dart sensor, and the dart itself. So the boulder, essentially, is just an object that, it's a bit glitchy, it's just an object that falls from the roof. It's invisible until it's visible when it begins falling, so it's basically got an alarm. Changes, so it's originally invisible with an invisible sprite, and then it turns visible, falls down. If it hits you, you lose a life. If it misses you, good job, but it constantly respawns in a certain area, so there's a constant flow of, like, one every 3 seconds or so. My second obstacle is the dart sensor, or my dart and the dart sensor, which is more like a magical ball, but I just call it dart for short. And that basically, if you walk into this sensor, it will then activate the darts, which now become visible, and will fly towards you slowly. If they hit you, you lose a life, same as the thing. You'll see this throughout the gameplay that I'll show you. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the new levels I've added, which will become quite apparent when I'm playing it. I'll try and cut it out so I get as much time as I can showing you the levels. Of course, I've also got the health and score. The health I'm still having a bit of trouble with, but I think I'll add in some screenshots when I finish of it finally working. It does work, but I can't get it to show. And the score, which I've added as well, which took me not very long, but it was quite interesting. The score. I've also added, obviously, sounds, which I've incorporated, which I can show. And attacking, which was my attacking move where you play spacebar and attacks, and the tutorial. So I'll quickly show you the attacking. Oh yeah, so when the space key is pressed, essentially, it changes it into a completely different object, which was the easiest way I would say that I could do it. I've experimented with a few different methods, but this was the easiest possible one that I could think of that wouldn't require much work. The only problem is this does mean that now when you're in this attacking state, it means that the other objects can't affect you. So what I've done is, I've made out that the game is when you turn to this state, you become essentially invincible. You can glide and hit things, but then it stops after, and you're back to normal. So you really are only there for a limited amount of time. I've still incorporated the things where you can hit monsters, and when the animation ends, it obviously goes back to normal, and you can still move around in that state, but it's only for a good 1.5 seconds, maybe. What was the other thing? The sounds, yep, and the tutorial, which I'll show you now. Okay, so this is my game. The sounds are very loud, obviously. So that's my sound, this is my start menu. Press J, you can go into the tutorial. It just shows the basic movements and everything. Press K to leave, and B to start. And I'm in the game. I've added a little soundtrack in the background, which you may be able to hear. As you can see, the score doesn't show because I've done a certain view in the room. And I actually quite like the idea that you can't see it. As you can see, these little dudes running around. You can hit them with the attacking animation, which I just showed there. Yes, so I'll get to the end. I'm just going to skip to the end here because I'm trying to get through as much. This is the second level, so eventually you get to the end. There's doors at the end now that I've added as well, which basically allow you to go to the next room. These guys can't be hit by landing on top of them. You actually have to hit them properly. And you'll see here, I'll show you in the map eventually, but when you go over the certain sensors which are invisible, it starts spawning in. Oh, it'll spawn in those guys. Okay, I'm back. I'm finally gonna try and beat my own game now. Yep, there's a sound effect. Can't even beat my own freaking game. Yep, and that's the end of that room, and then it moves on to the final room, which is here. So I've added a few different paths, and so it actually makes it a bit more difficult. So there's a path up there, but that's the wrong path, so I'm not going to take that. As you go along here, there's a little funnel, which you can drop down, and that's activated them. I went through it very quickly, though, by accident, because I'm good at my game. Whoop, don't want to get killed by these dudes. Nup, 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 nup. And you get to the end, and you hit the thing. Congratulations, you've won. Okay, so I finally made it to the end of the game. Whoop. After much trouble. And this is basically the end screen. It's a bit low because I've had a bit of trouble with the sizing. The game's, the actual, the thing's a bit broken, but that's the end. And I think of the edges, yep. So that's it.